Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with the long view video. Today is March 12th, 2022. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security, and I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, so long view, just a recap of what we are doing here. This is to find a video to find relative strength in the market. And we will be using the Trader Lion indicator on TradingView for this video. Is set to the SPX, just so you know what this is set to, which is why this is for the most part flat here, because I have the SPX on my screen. Then I'm also going to be comparing different stocks to it. Anyway, I'm looking for trend alignment. I'm looking for base breakouts, bull flags, all that kind of normal stuff. And this is this whole video is more geared towards, again, a longer term hold. We are using weekly charts. It's for really, I mean, it could be used for anybody, but a lot of people that are working and can't be, tuned into the market for every tick. This is the type of video for you. Okay, this is where we are going to be looking at longer term trends and saying that we could be involved in an active way in the market and outperform the market, yet not be, a day trader, or not be even, a shorter term swing trader. Okay. So I've done the research, and this is what I have found as far as the best setups. Before we get even any further, if you like this type of video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Again, I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. So again, if you just stop right now, go ahead and subscribe. That would be amazing. I do these videos. I'm gonna try to do them every week. Also, you can find me on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. All right, but let's get going with this. All right, so this is S&P 500, and it's not looking really good, right? I did a state of the market video this morning where I talk about the health of the market, and it's not very good right now, right? Could change this week, who knows? But as of right now, not very positive. But there are places where we're seeing huge strength, right? Just because the general market looks like trash doesn't mean that everything looks like trash. So we're talking about XOP, right? XOP, beautiful base breakout. This week we saw this, we'll call it indecision bar. It doesn't bother me at all because we were so far extended from the moving averages. We talked about inside week would have been amazing. It couldn't push higher here, but again, nothing I'm worried about. Again, another inside week here would be fine. Just letting these moving averages start to catch up. Pick and choose your spots, right? I mean, yes, you could buy here if you wanted to, but it's still kind of extended from that moving average, almost 10%. So again, if these moving averages could come back in, or if it could touch the moving average, that would be a great spot. The strength is there. Its brother OIH, same thing, even a stronger looking week to it, but again, we were just way extended, 15% from the moving average. So it needs to chill out a little bit. And again, you see a little bit with this little wick up here. Maybe again, it has to go sideways for a week or two, let these moving averages catch up, and then potentially go higher. Again, beautiful base breakout. Just need that little bit of pullback or consolidation in that one. And then XES, I was hoping a sideways move in all of these energy gas names. This would be one I would have really liked to be involved in, but it just didn't happen. Okay, and let's just go through. And I forgot to start this. Here's XOP holdings. You're gonna see some overlap in some of these names because breadth isn't very good in the market. So because breadth isn't good, it's kind of concentrated into a handful of names. But again, you're looking for individual names. This is a good looking ETF. OIH, again, this is so an energy sector, but different types of names. Looks really good. Heavy on Schlumberger and Halliburton. And the XES is very similar, I guess, to the OIH in a lot of ways, right? A lot of the same names there. So as you expect, great week also from there. Okay. So yeah, I want to show you the underlying stocks that make up these ETFs, because I think that's really important. You gotta have to know what you own right? And a lot of these stocks have moved very, very far, right? If you look at XOP, a lot of these have moved really far, and it may be hard to get an entry in one of these individual names, but you may find that the ETF is easier to get the entry in because it's not going to be as erratic in its movement. Okay. Next up is going to be those with some energy names, ETFs that I liked. Here's some industrials, EVX. This one's kind of interesting. So EVX is environmental services. And, we had this kind of move higher, and then it came back, retested this area, held it once, twice, and now it's trying to move higher. And there's a downtrend line that you could easily put in there. Relative strength off the charts. I'm looking at what's in EVX. It is, there it's EVX. It's in the wrong spot. Let's go right there. Waste Connections, Waste Management, Republic Services, Ecolabs, whatever. You can see what makes up its top holdings right here. It's a big deal, and the chart looks really good. Again, these are not small companies, and there's not, these are huge, gigantic companies. And I love how this is showing tons of relative strength and trying to break this downtrend line. And right here, as you can see, we don't have quite trend alignment yet, but we may get that early next week, and a really nice look to this changing trend right here. As soon as the 8-week EMA flips 13-week EMA, that would be trend alignment in my book, and that's the way to go. All right. Boat. So Boat is a newer ETF on shipping, right? And it's been really strong, a little bit thin on the volume trading. Okay, so just be aware of that, because remember, there's a weekly volume right there. So it is a little bit thin on the weekly volume. But with that being said, it looks great. So what makes up Boat? Again, there's Japanese, Hong Kong. You have Zim in there, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Star Bulk Carriers in there. Matson, I'm sure you're familiar with. Again, so you have some foreign stocks in there, and you have some domestic stocks in there. Great looking chart, just screaming higher. Every dip being bought looks fantastic. Relative strength off the charts. Hard part is finding an entry. Sometimes you won't get that perfect entry if you want to be involved. I bought some this week in the wick, and so that's this is how I played it. Was it a perfect entry? Nope. But this type of strength may not give you a perfect entry, so I went ahead and just bought some. All right. What else is up there? Let's go to miners. So some material names. GDX. So just zooming out here. So gold miners, super strong group. Love how this came back, retested, ripped higher. Again, a move like this is incredible. Great to be part of that move. I was not 30% in a very short period of time. So with that being said, how do we play this? I am not in this particular name yet. I would like to be. But again, you saw some sellers come in right at a spot that you would expect. And we just need these moving averages to catch up some, right? If it touches them, great. It's still over 10% away from that 8-day EMA. Again, just a slight pullback would be a great place maybe to potentially enter, or even a sideways movement for a week or two. But GDX looks good. The juniors also look good. GDXJ right there. That looks really, really good. What else? Just jumping out right there. And here's GDX, just so you can see. Move this up here. Newmont Gold, which is Barrick Gold, Franklin, Nevada. Again, names that really good names. By the way, gold itself, huge week. Again, it did pull back a little bit this week, right? Again, because of the extended, it's got so extended from the moving averages. That does not make me nervous. You have this gigantic pattern on the weekly. And I think owning gold outright makes a lot of sense, especially as it broke this downtrend line and moved higher. I'm going to actually delete some of these ETFs because which one was this one? Let's take a look here. It doesn't matter actually. Anyway, there's GDX and then GDXJ. These are the juniors, and you see Pan American Silver and all these other names in here, smaller names, maybe a little bit more erratic, but looking at GDXJ, again, this is the downtrend line to watch. There was some selling. I think it needs to move sideways, maybe below this level. And then actually, so sorry about that. I just had to get that phone call real quick. Important stuff. But looking at GDXJ, I do like how this is kind of coming out of this area right here. It did have a little pause. Maybe needs to just go sideways a little bit right here. Let these moving averages catch up. But there's your downtrend line. There's your horizontal potential resistance, and there's your outperformance last few weeks, right? All right, so that looks really good there. What else do we have here? There's some, I call them mixed use. I'm not even sure what the right word is. Something like GNR. I love that name. Love Guns N' Roses. But again, you see this outperformance. You see what we got going on there. Looking at the, what it holds. It's got like things like Nutrien, which is fertilizer. Has some oil and gas names, right? And it also has Vail, some mining names in there. So it's a nice kind of bunch of different stuff. It says Global Natural Resources ETF, but I like the mix of something like GNR right over here. That looks really good. GUNR is another one that I like also. Again, Exxon, Chevron, Nutrien, Archer Daniels, a lot of good looking names, Rio Tinto, going with the aluminum name, so on and so forth. So it all looks really good. So these are interesting. And just to show you the chart of GUNR, great looking, beautiful chart. I actually like that one probably better than GNR, but they both look great, right? They both look great. XME broke out of this base. Again, we wanted like an inside day or inside week, I should say. Didn't really get it, but we got, just a sideways movement on this one. Probably may need another week or so of that. Maybe not. We'll see. But this is its holdings. Again, has some coal names in there. There's your Alcoa aluminum name. Uranium's in there. So XME's got a lot of different nice looking pieces in there, some gold miners and stuff like that. So again, kind of a mixed bag, but a lot of things are doing well right now. Just look at uranium. I wasn't planning on doing this. Yeah, uranium looks good too, by the way. Nice look to uranium chart again. And uranium's kind of, I don't know any of these names, to be honest with you. We're going to assume that these are good uranium names. This Cameco Corp makes up 23% of the fund. That's a big deal. So just know that, one thing, this fund will live and die by this particular stock. But overall, this looks like a good looking chart of uranium too. Just moving on here. MU, which is the agribusiness ETF. Nice flat base right there. Good move higher. It did come back and kind of retest the breakout. It held, moved, again to the top end of the range. It was down for the week, 0.32%. Nothing to worry about right there. Still looks really good. Bullish alignment of the trend. Looks, again, very, very nice. And there's MU. Again, Nutrien, Deere, Bayer, Zoetis, Corteva, Archer Daniels. People that make food and people that produce food and people that get food to us, right? That's what and the equipment used. So again, looks great. This is Mu Agribusiness, steel, SLX. Moved real high here, 8%. Had a little bit of pullback. Again, still great trend alignment. Very actionable name. Lower volume on this pullback, which is really, really good. Looking at what's in the steel names. Vale, Rio Tinto, Nucor, United States Steel. Again, names that you see that are really strong names, but now you get all of them in one ETF. And that's the beauty of buying the ETF. There's other names that look great in there. Some of the silver and silver miners look great, like the juniors. So junior silver miners, love the look of this one. Here's the VWAP from the COVID, not the lows, but the lows in the relative strength. It's right there. I mean, even if I went here, it's still above that VWAP. So it doesn't really matter where I put it. It's about the same spot. I can put it here, that's fine. But it's moving out. Here's some overhead supply that it just took a pause with. You have this double bottom, nice little bullish crossover right there. And these are the silver miners, the juniors. And again, there's Pan American again, First Majestic, MAG, and again, some other ones in there. SSRM is in there. Again, it's a gold miner too. Lots of good looking names there. All right, and the last ETF we're going to talk about is REZ. And this is the residential multi-sector real estate. You're seeing continued outperformance. It did break this downtrend line, wants to move higher. Again, a little bit of pullback this particular week, but nothing crazy. You still have the bullish crossover, just barely. Again, not doing anything wrong though at this point. So it looks pretty good. There's some stronger charts out there, but it doesn't look bad or anything like that. And that should be it right there. And you're seeing things like public storage. Let me just move this down here. You're seeing like public storage in there. You're seeing like well tower, and extra space, all that kind of stuff in there. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is I am using TraderSync to track this. These are things I own already. Again, some of them were from, they're all from the list last week. Some of them were on the, still look great. Some of them like PB and J, you know what? Had a rough week, right? Had a rough week, down 5% this week. I did buy it someplace in here. It did close below the moving averages, but right on the support area. So I'm going to look for early next week. Continued weakness into next week, and I'll cut this position because again, decisive close below the 13-week moving average is what I'm looking for as far as to cut positions. And so this one did have a close that was pretty good, but it's right on that important level. So I'm going to give it to next week, PB and J. And again, agribusiness, IHF, again, that was in last week's, didn't quite make the cut this week because it came back really into this range. Still pretty good relative strength, still has a bullish crossover. So next week it could pop right back up. I'm going to own it. Again, not have a decisive close below the 13-week for me at least. So I'm going to give it another week. We talked about Res, which was coming up nicely. Again, still with the bullish alignment, just barely. And again, I have no problem cutting it and moving into something strong. The really strong names like OIH and the GDX and things like that, they were just so extended. I couldn't buy them. I did get into GUNR though. I'm happy about that. This one looks real good, very strong trend in that one. Boat looks amazing, right? Strong trend, looks good. Again, I bought this one extended because I wanted to be in that one. And what else? Let's just look real fast. I've owned gold for a little bit while longer, but it is part of this grouping. And of course, XAR. Again, didn't quite make the cut this week, but it hasn't done anything wrong yet. I'd love to see it take out this downtrend line in the relative strength side. And again, it's got to hold this area right here. So again, just didn't have a strongest week, but it still looks pretty good. Okay. So that's what I have for you. I hope that you get something out of this. I hope that you're following along, and we'll see where this goes. Weekly charts made for the person working full time that wants to participate and outperform hopefully the market without having to be a day trader or or be too concerned on the day-to-day movements. Look at weekly charts, longer term, weekend reviews and stuff like that. Okay, this is the long view. Appreciate the likes and follow, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I do appreciate that. Y'all have a great day. Bye.